The idea of teachers researching their own practice has been in and out of fashion over the years, but now action research has come full circle and is firmly back on the agenda in our schools.
What do you think about the rewards that you get on the scheme?
I thought they were a great incentive.
Teachers are using the cycle of reflective research to bring about changes in their own practice, contributing to a growing autonomy of schools in shaping their curriculum.
We've moved so quickly along, haven't we, Daniel, from using this path?
Is this valid, proper research? Should teachers leave educational research to the academics? Some might have their doubts, while others are passionate about the importance of teachers as researchers. One of Lawrence Stenhouse's original research students, John Elliott.
The idea that action research is just very small-scale stuff that is of no relevance other than to the teachers that undertook it, for me is a load of rubbish.
This is St George's Infants, a small local primary school in Ladywood, Birmingham. Through an action research project started 2 years ago, they've not only produced what they believe to be an effective resource for their own use within the school, but have reached all the primary schools in Birmingham, and there's a growing national interest in their project. It all started with recognising a problem common to many inner-city schools.
St George's is set in inner city Birmingham, which means that we do have children coming from a diverse range of backgrounds, cultures, speaking different languages. At present, the makeup is mainly African Caribbean, mixed race, white and Asian, and we do have a high percentage of EAL pupils. But on top of that, recently we've seen a growing number of newly arrived pupils coming from overseas with very little or no English.
Ka Ying arrived in the UK with no English at all. She required time and support from EAL teaching assistant Joy Smith.
Ka-Ying started ending of November as a very, very shy girl. So what I had to do was, walk around with her, show where everything is, show her each classroom, where the toilet was, where she has her meals, where she'll do her PE, where every room in school, where it is.
Both teachers and teaching assistants found that they were spending a lot of time looking for suitable resources for children like Ka Ying. This prompted an action research project jointly undertaken by Joy and Pfizer.
Because Joy was the EAL teaching assistant in school at the time, and she was the person who was being approached by all members of staff, it's like, what should we do? We need some resources. We decided to do one-to-one interviews with these members of staff, just to see what staff were doing at the moment and what kind of realistic help or support they felt they needed to make it even better.
If you couldn't communicate with a child, how would you go about it?
Try the parent first, because sometimes the parents can speak little English.
In the action research process, perhaps the most important part of it is developing your understanding of the situation in order to be able to act intelligently within that situation. So the diagnosis of the problem is very, very important, and gathering good evidence from a variety of perspectives.
Yeah. The responses that we did get from staff were really, there's no one resource base that staff can access to get resources for newly arrived pupils, and it's very time consuming to pick out one relevant sheet for a particular lesson from there and somewhere else. So what they were really looking for was a pack that covered different areas on a differentiated scale, but something that children could actually work on independently.
With a clear understanding coming out of their research, their journey to develop a welcome pack for newly arrived children had a defined focus for action. Over in Kings Heath, South Birmingham, Colmore Infant School were embarking on a similar journey. This time, the challenge was literacy at Key Stage 1. Reading had been identified as a development area within their school improvement plan, and they wanted to target underachieving pupils to raise their reading levels. This became the focus of an action research project.
The reading project came from the data that we had in place in school from the Panda report, which showed a huge difference in the grades that children were getting for writing than they were for reading. So our children were achieving a higher level with writing than reading, and had done consistently.
Literacy coordinator Della Winchester was given dedicated time and support to coordinate the research with staff, pupils and parents.
Our methodology was quite varied. Some of it was very practical
and involved everybody trialling new ways of teaching reading. We used questionnaires, we interviewed people, we interviewed the children. We asked constantly for feedback from everybody in the school community.
Colmore's Action Research project was boosted by academic support from an external critical friend, financed by the National Foundation for Educational Research.
I think it is essential to have some external support because if you don't, then the process that you go through doesn't become rigorous enough. You need somebody who's going to be able to help you to think of things in a different light, to sort of open